Have you ever felt stuck? Like no matter how hard you try, nothing changes. You see the same struggles every day: stress, uncertainty, frustration. What if I told you that in just 1 week, you could transform your life? Imagine waking up every day with clarity, emotional strength, and purpose. A life where the chaos no longer controls you, but you control the chaos. Sounds impossible? It's not. Stoic philosophy has been changing lives for thousands of years. Today, I'm going to show you how to harness its power to completely reinvent yourself in just 7 days. This isn't about wishful thinking. It's about actionable strategies and mindset shifts that will make you unrecognizable by the end of the week. Are you ready to take control of your destiny? Let's dive in and discover how to make this your reality. 1. Embrace the dichotomy of control. One of the most powerful teachings in Stoic philosophy is the dichotomy of control. This principle, taught by Epictetus, separates everything in life into 2 categories: what you can control and what you cannot. It's simple, yet profound. You see, we often spend so much time stressing about things that are completely outside of our control. Whether it's someone's behavior, the weather, or even the economy, these are all factors that we can't influence. So why waste energy on them? Instead, focus on what you can control. This includes your thoughts, your actions, and your reactions. How you respond to the world around you is entirely within your power. The Stoics taught us that our peace of mind comes from focusing on these things, rather than stressing over the uncontrollable. Let me give you an example. Imagine you're driving in traffic, and suddenly someone cuts you off. The natural reaction might be anger, frustration, or irritation. But here's the Stoic twist: you can control how you respond. You can choose to let the anger go, breathe, and remain calm. Or, you can allow that moment to ruin your day. The choice is yours. When you accept that there are things you cannot control, you free yourself from unnecessary anxiety and frustration. You realize that your peace is not dependent on other people's actions or external events, but on your ability to respond with wisdom and self-discipline. Action step. This week, I challenge you to identify at least one situation in your life where you are stressing about something outside of your control. Write it down and ask yourself, how can I respond differently? Shift your focus back to your actions, your thoughts, and your responses. 2. Develop emotional resilience. Emotional resilience is one of the cornerstones of Stoic philosophy. It's the ability to remain calm, composed, and effective, no matter what life throws at you. In fact, Stoics believe that it's not the events themselves that disturb us, but rather our reactions to them. Imagine this: you face a tough challenge at work. Maybe it's a project that's falling apart, or a disagreement with a colleague. The natural response might be stress, anger, or frustration. But what if you could respond without being overwhelmed by these emotions? What if you could stay clear-headed and focused, no matter the external pressure? This is where emotional resilience comes in. The Stoics taught us that while we can't control external events, we can control our reactions. Marcus Aurelius, one of the greatest Stoic philosophers, wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events." This means that while we can't control what happens around us, we always have the power to decide how we respond. This week, try to notice your emotional responses throughout the day. When you feel stressed or frustrated, take a moment to pause. Ask yourself, what's the worst that could happen? Then, remind yourself that your emotional state doesn't have to be controlled by external circumstances. You can choose to respond with calm and clarity. Another key aspect of emotional resilience is the power of perspective. How you view a situation will determine your emotional response to it. For example, a setback might feel like a failure, but it could also be seen as an opportunity to learn, adapt, and grow. The Stoics saw challenges as part of life, and they embraced them as opportunities to practice virtue. When something doesn't go according to plan, stop and reflect. Ask yourself, what can I learn from this? How can I grow stronger from this experience? The more you train your mind to see challenges as opportunities, the stronger and more resilient you'll become. 3. Practice gratitude and acceptance. Gratitude and acceptance are two of the most powerful practices you can cultivate in your life, especially through the lens of Stoic philosophy. They go hand in hand with the concept of emotional resilience, helping you build a foundation of inner peace and contentment, no matter the circumstances around you. First, let's talk about gratitude. It's easy to feel frustrated when things aren't going the way we want them to. We focus on what's wrong, what we lack, or what others have that we don't. But Stoicism teaches us to shift that focus. Instead of dwelling on what's missing, we're encouraged to reflect on what we already have. Marcus Aurelius, one of the greatest Stoic philosophers, often wrote about practicing gratitude. He believed that no matter how difficult life may seem, there's always something to be thankful for. Even in the darkest times, there is always a reason to be grateful, even if it's something as simple as waking up to a new day. By practicing gratitude, you start to change your mindset. You begin to notice the abundance in your life, good health, supportive relationships, a roof over your head, the beauty of nature, and the small everyday moments that make life meaningful. When you shift your attention to what you are grateful for, it's hard to stay upset or focused on negative thoughts. Every morning, take a few minutes to write down 3 things you are grateful for. Start with the simplest things and work your way up. Over time, this will train your mind to focus on the positive, creating a shift in your perspective. Now, let's talk about acceptance. Acceptance is not the same as resignation. It's not about giving up or settling for less than you deserve. Instead, it's about acknowledging the things that are outside your control and making peace with them. The Stoics taught us that there are things we can change and things we cannot. By accepting what we cannot change, we free ourselves from frustration and anxiety. If we fight against reality, we only create suffering for ourselves. But when we embrace the present moment, as it is, without resistance, we find peace. This week, pay attention to areas of your life where you're struggling to accept things as they are. It might be a relationship, a difficult work situation, or something in your personal life. Write down one thing that's out of your control, and practice accepting it. Focus on what you can do moving forward, and let go of the need to control the uncontrollable. 4. Master your speech in silence. In Stoic philosophy, words are more than just sounds, they are a reflection of your character, your intellect, and your values. The way you speak reveals who you are, and it's through your words that others form an impression of you. One of the most important lessons Stoicism teaches us is how to master our speech. This doesn't mean controlling everything you say to the point of suppressing your true self, but it's about choosing your words wisely and using them to express your thoughts, beliefs, and intentions clearly and purposefully. Take Marcus Aurelius, for example. As an emperor and a Stoic philosopher, Marcus Aurelius was known for his thoughtful and measured speech. In his personal writings, he often reminded himself to speak with integrity, to avoid unnecessary chatter, and to ensure that his words were grounded in truth and virtue. He understood that the way we communicate has the power to either uplift or tear down. Next time you're about to speak, pause for a moment and ask yourself, is what I'm about to say truthful? Is it helpful? If the answer is no, consider keeping quiet. This simple practice will not only make your words more meaningful but also give you the strength to resist speaking impulsively or reacting out of emotion. Now, let's talk about the power of silence. It might sound counterintuitive, but silence can be one of the most powerful tools you have. In a world filled with constant noise and distractions, choosing to remain silent can send a much stronger message than speaking. Silence is not weakness, it's a sign of strength, wisdom, and control. The Stoics taught that there are times when speaking is unnecessary and even harmful. In those moments, silence becomes a form of mastery, a way to maintain your inner peace and avoid getting entangled in trivial conversations or arguments. Imagine you're in a heated discussion, and someone says something disrespectful. Your first impulse might be to retaliate. But what if instead of responding, you simply remain silent? By doing so, you retain control of the situation. Your silence communicates that you are not easily provoked, that your emotional state is not dictated by others. This is a powerful demonstration of inner strength. This week, practice choosing silence in situations where you'd normally feel compelled to speak. Whether it's in a heated debate, during gossip, or when someone is trying to provoke you, use silence to stay grounded. Over time, you'll find that silence allows you to respond with more clarity and composure. Mastering your speech in silence is a process. It requires self-awareness and the discipline to choose your words thoughtfully. But once you start practicing, you'll notice that your relationships improve, your peace of mind grows, and your ability to navigate life's challenges strengthens. 5. Detach from the ego and build self-respect. One of the most transformative principles in Stoic philosophy is the idea of detaching from the ego. The ego is that part of us that seeks validation, recognition, and approval from others. It constantly craves praise and strives to be seen as important, often leading us into unhealthy patterns of behavior. But what if I told you that true freedom comes when you let go of the need for external validation? The Stoics understood this deeply. They taught that our self-worth should not depend on how others see us or how much attention we get. Instead, self-respect comes from within, from knowing who you are, what you stand for, and living in alignment with your values, regardless of external praise or criticism. Marcus Aurelius, the great Stoic philosopher and emperor, often reminded himself not to seek approval from others. In his meditations, he wrote, "Don't waste time on what you can't control. Focus on what you can control: your thoughts, actions, and values." This simple yet powerful idea is at the heart of Stoic philosophy. True power comes from within, not from external recognition. Now, think about this. How often do we get caught up in the opinions of others? How often do we base our self-worth on someone else's approval or judgment? The truth is, as long as we live for the approval of others, we are never truly free. We are slaves to external circumstances. But when we detach from the ego and stop seeking validation, we begin to unlock a deep sense of inner peace and confidence. This week, practice letting go of the need for approval. Start by identifying one area in your life where you seek external validation. Maybe it's in your work, your relationships, or your social media presence. Once you identify it, ask yourself, why does this approval matter to me? Then, challenge yourself to find satisfaction within, without relying on others. Another powerful aspect of Stoic philosophy is building self-respect through self-discipline. Self-discipline is about doing what's right, even when no one is watching. It's about taking responsibility for your actions and consistently striving to become a better version of yourself. The Stoics believe that a person's true character is revealed by the way they handle challenges and adversity. When we act with integrity and self-discipline, we earn our own respect, not because we seek it from others, but because we know we're living true to ourselves. This week, commit to one small act of self-discipline each day. It could be as simple as sticking to a morning routine, following through on a promise, or resisting the urge to procrastinate. These small acts of discipline will help you build a sense of pride in yourself, which will naturally lead to greater self-respect. Conclusion. Now that you have the tools to transform your life, the question is, will you take action today? Stoic philosophy offers timeless wisdom, but it's up to you to apply it. It's not enough to simply learn these principles, you must live them, day by day, moment by moment. Start with one of the practices we talked about today. Whether it's letting go of the ego, mastering your speech, or embracing gratitude, take that first step. Commit to yourself, because your future self will thank you for it. Which of these lessons will you apply today?